Abusian Fonity for ye mobibia kwa beam a sand of a ye. Alpha OneTV, Shema now for no lavis in your binshiti for me in Kansas to 10. A ye Daniel Domelevo, former Auditor General, and I think so a ye NPP for Malaysia South on Seven a Balfour and a lawyer a ye Maliba, and a ye some a ye Bakuso account in the internal record needing kaka. Na omawa kushia ewo a TV shows be no more than mutin common. Na omo discussing about a year niema atonjin na ba pointing back kan just na enya asem ketwa. Eno na a year NPP MPF and ba for one and try so be rubbish a year the atonjin na ba pointing back kan. But sisia kasa no Daniel Domelevo amana kwan amana rubbish that a year EG report on the Babontin and a ora team no. Niema no kikafa ora team no ya diana fakwen. Niema like no one say the word ora na kwampasi. No dream say ora no ekwakwe say omo recover loot niwia or some side investigation. That's some the cases na Akroma 20 na some investigation. So me investigation niwia no akujina court. No about Pontia be you are. But only moment trying say that to run and from first day I'm not in the Urano and who say Mboa president no. And who say Urana say a disappointment to a year the president to Campo. I don't know I'm a year lawyer Balima and a year Daniel Domelevo I shutting it down TV shows of power to say Nemo Guasi was ye quack that in coming nearby. Well,
I've never spoken. I know Dominic Ayene, who is my senior in chambers, as a very meticulous person, and I know that he won't rush to go to court unless he's done all the things that he's doing now by ticking the boxes. But I also knew that when he starts the prosecution, it was not going to be something that we will say that is slow. But like I'm saying, at this point, Dominic Ayene, as an Attorney General, believes in his case. And I disagree that if you believe in your case, you should begin to disbelieve in your case because the other lawyer may have a superior argument. You believe in your case, that's why you are going to court. And so what we are seeing is not pronouncing people guilty, but what we are seeing is the Attorney General updating the Ghanaian people. And when you read his statement, the first paragraph, the opening statement was that it was to the sovereign country because it was one of the grounds upon which these elections were fought. So I disagree with him entirely and thinking that what he is doing is defaming people. What he's doing has that he's defaming people, but what he's doing is accounting to the people, and I don't think that that should be a problem. It's only criminals.
What Balfour one says you can update us on where you are with investigations. That's different from now saying that on a particular allegation you are confident of securing the conviction of a man who is innocent until proving otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction.
When we go to court as lawyers and we stand before the judge and we are making our submissions, it is based on our conviction that we will win the case. Ask Balfour whether that's a lie. And so,
except that the Attorney General is no ordinary lawyer, he's also the Minister of Justice.
And so, as an Attorney General and Minister of Justice, has he deprived the accused person or the suspects their rights to defend themselves? No. What he has done has not taken away the rights of suspects or accused persons to defend themselves.
Okay. So when you go to court as a lawyer, be it in a criminal matter or a civil matter, even your evidence what that you consider to be the basis of your case, there's the possibility that it might not be admissible. I'll give you an example. In the Republic versus the Bafu, a witness, a statement, right, of one of the accused persons, which was the key foundation of the prosecution's case, right, was deemed inadmissible. The court rejected it. Okay, if it had been today, I'm sure on the basis of that statement, the Attorney General would have held a press conference and said, the accused person has given us a statement where he has confessed to the commission of the offense, right? And on the basis of that statement alone, we are likely to secure a conviction. And so these are some of the reasons why, from where I sit as a trial lawyer, I am of the view that the Attorney General, in his update...
Hello, Domelevo, can you hear me? Okay, I would get him because I'm pretty sure he said he wanted to respond, and please respond to me for me.
No, I'm not quite that the position that this validates your thinking and what you've been saying is right. I'll tell you why. Right from the first time I heard about oral, I said, brilliant. Why? If you look at the Afrobarometer report for 2022-2023, about 30% of Ghanaians said they would not report issues of corruption for two reasons. The first reason was that they anticipated a backlash because their identities were likely to be exposed, and the persons whom they were reporting would get to know about it and somehow, get at them, hit them. Second reason was that they did not expect that even if they reported, anything will change. Now, the reason why, for me, oral, just by collecting the data was fantastic, was the individuals that had been selected were known individuals who have handled corruption cases in the past, and the identities of those who gave them information was never exposed. And so that was a confidence building factor that the persons mentioned there, whether it was Samia Blakwa and so on and so forth, are persons who in the past have been at the forefront of dealing with issues of corruption. Their sources of information had never been exposed. And so that immediately made it possible for people to have a lot of confidence in who was on the oral committee and what would happen. The second aspect of it was that these same persons have handled information on corruption, proceeded where necessary to engage at whichever level, and gotten results. So the two key reasons why Ghanaians had said they would not even bother to report were addressed by the composition of the committee, which meant that many more citizens will have the confidence to provide information. And so I disagree with him entirely when he says there's no utilities. Plenty of utility, because the data tells us that there were concerns citizens had, for which reason they would not even provide that information, and this committee was able to deal with that. It was a bridge for Ghanaians to have confidence to speak to these issues. And so I'm not quite sure he understands the dynamics we're dealing with here. I think oral was a fantastic idea. It should continue to be one of the things that we use.
I'm going to take a break. When I return, hopefully we can get Dr. Domelevo back, and then he can weigh in on that.
Receive information or data. That does not mean that he just take it on and say, I'm going to conduct an audit. So that was not part of our mandate. So I think his argument is completely misplaced, and our job was delivered according to the terms of reference.
Okay, Abraham Aliba, did your government, when you were campaigning last year, did you overpromise and now struggling to deliver on those promises when it came to oral?
But Evans, where is the struggling coming from? We are just 9 months old, and we are putting people before court. We have put 3 people before court now. There are 3 cases. When you were talking, you said 2. There are actually 3 cases. There's a Sky Train one, there's a National Service one, and there's the National Service one. Buffer stock one is there.
Buffer stock is going to court on Friday, from what the Attorney General.
It's going to court.
Friday, yes, but the charges have is complete. Yes,
exactly. So for me, government is on track. The Attorney General is on track.
But were you over ambitious though with oral? I mean, looking at the evidence before you today, looking back at the campaign, did you overpromise?
we couldn't have been over-ambitious when what we were facing as a country was overwhelming too. Don't forget that people didn't even know that it was possible to rule a country for 9 months without a scandal. People thought that scandals are a byproduct of governing a country. And so we got to a point where every other day there was something that Ghanaians were complaining about. So at this point, would you be talking about how we must go and deal with the issues, or you'll be talking about over promising? Because what we are even saying that we are sending to court is not even half of what Ghanaians complain about. So I don't think so. I don't think that we have overpromised at all. But the people of this country wanted this to happen. It is happening. And for me, it's an indication of a government that would hold people accountable.
Okay. And let's talk about, we have just about 8 minutes to wrap up. Let's talk about another aspect we haven't touched.
So we just collected data as given to us and we presented it.
I mean, to be fair to the Attorney General, let me quote what he said, because this is a PowerPoint. You know, sometimes it may just give you a bullet, but let me quote him just to be fair to him. It says the investigations were necessary because the oral committee reports did not contain the evidence required to prove the guilt of the suspects in court beyond reasonable doubt. It is always important to remember that the oral committee was tasked by His Excellency the President to receive complaints of looting of state resources.
Fantastic. So that clarifies it.
Yeah.
So it must be clear to the members that your summary is problematic.
No, bro, I mean, it's PowerPoint. When I was presenting it, I'll give you the context.
It's problematic because it may look like, oh, we did work, but we didn't produce any evidence, and we said so many millions or billions have been stolen. But I think that is fine. So it is good that Attorney General spent some time. I listened to him clearly. He spent some time to disperse that view that anybody or any member or legal team of the NDC, for that matter, was trying to bribe their way through, or people wanted to bribe their way through them. I think that is very, very, very necessary.
And by the way, on the subject of the oral, and that's the one you have on your screen there, this week, the Deputy Attorney General was speaking on the subject of what you said is recoverable, the 21 billion plus. He says that is on the high side.
I completely agree. And I remember, I think I had an interview with you, and I said that those figures are just summation of the complaints which came. And I even said that after an audit or investigation, those figures may balloon further or may shrink. It is possible. And again, the actual game is in the courtroom. When you get to the courtroom, the amount may reduce significantly. And I even cautioned, I remember saying that I know even if we should win the 21 or 22, close to $22 billion, if we should win all that, collecting it is another game altogether. I think there are two lawyers there, they will bear me out. That even the fact that you have won the case in the court does not necessarily mean you collect the money. And I remember citing Woyome's case to say that I remember Supreme Court say pay, but it took some time. I don't know up to now whether it has fully been paid. So winning the case is one thing, but recovering it is a different ball game. So I completely agree with the Deputy Attorney General that yes, as for us, we just collected data and summed it up. We didn't do any investigation. A preliminary investigation even may show that some of the complaints were just noise. There's nothing in it. But we collected the data as it is, so including the garbage. So if he has taken time to look at it and maybe based upon some preliminary investigation and think it's on the high side, I do not disagree with him.
Did you just use the word including garbage?
Yes, because at times people, in fact, nobody came to us that we turn away and say, yes, we will not take your information. So we collected all the information. Remember, we are not investigating. So when you come, we are not going to say that Mr. Mensah substantiate what you are saying. So you just come and say that I know Mr. Maliba is involved in this, that. The amount is this. We see the document you have and we capture it. Some even came in the form of emails. Some even came in the form of emails. What about if the person is just making it up? Being an experienced auditor, I know that you can even submit documents. And later on, when we test the documents may not have any substance or they may not be authentic. So there will be a lot of garbage in it. There's no two ways about that.
Buffalo, we're waiting on this one.
From what I've heard, to a very large extent, or let me put it in the form of a question, then what was the utility of the oral? When you look at the persons forming the committee, you have Mr. Domelevo, a very highly experienced auditor, the former Auditor General. You had lawyer Martin Pebu. You had Commissioner retired Kofi Boakye, an experienced security person. You had all these people on there with the current Yoko boss too there. And all they did was to receive documents, couldn't even probe the usefulness or otherwise of the documents. And so they handed over the report to the president, including all garbage. Then what was the utility of it? It does appear that they are part of the reason why there's a lot of pressure on the Attorney General. And the Attorney General himself is also advancing it with the nature of information he's putting in the public domain. I think that, it's really, really unfortunate from what I'm hearing this evening. Very unfortunate. And that is why, people were at some point of the view that some deals were being cut. In fact, what was given to the Attorney General was unrefined document that Mr. Domelevo very respectfully failed to bring his experience, his expertise to bear on what he received. Mr. Martin Pebu failed to bring his experience to bear on what he received. He knows what is admissible, what is inadmissible, what is the weight of an evidence. Very respectfully, he's about 18 years at the bar. He qualifies to be a judge of even the Court of Appeal, should be in a position to evaluate documents. And so if he couldn't, then very respectfully, the utility of the oral is really problematic, has been it was of no use to the Attorney General. I made that point from day one on your platform. Today, very respectfully, with the grace of God, I think that our position has been vindicated by the confession of Mr. Domelevo. Mr. Kofi Boakye, senior, very experienced policeman, couldn't even evaluate, also of legal background. These are things that, for a very experienced trial lawyer like Pebu, for an auditor, my brother, it was a complete waste of time. And today, that position has been vindicated by Mr. Domelevo. If I may proceed, if I may add on.
I would like to get, and I'll come to you.
If I may add on.
If you are moving away from here, I want
I'm there.
Briefly.
I'm there.
Briefly, yes.
You see, when they finished, it became necessary for it for the NIB to probe it or go into it. And it was part of the reason why the NIB found itself in a very difficult position. And that is why the Attorney General has been doing all that it has been doing. I think that they have failed the president, unless they were aware that it was of propaganda value. And that propaganda is what the AG very respectfully seems to be dragged into. I think
Can I respond?
all we needed to do...
Just a second, yes, you may.
All we needed to do was to allow the state agencies to do their work. If you have any information, send it to Yoko, send it to the police CID, send it to BNI, send it to these state agencies.
Remember that it was set up before he took office.
So,
gather the evidence.
So what then is the point? Because now you gather the evidence, you've given them to Yoko, you've given them to NIB to proceed. In fact, today the Attorney General made reference to a certain forensic audit.
Yes.
It may well be that that audit may have very little legal value in terms of criminal prosecution.
Okay, just a second. Let me get Domelevo to respond to that. You accept the criticism, Daniel? Hello, Mr. Domelevo, can you hear me?
Can I speak?
It needs to manage the facts. This is a position I've maintained not just in respect of the Attorney General, but also the OSP. Because over the years, such, updates in the manner which they have done, very detailed manner, right, have resulted in a situation where the public expectation has been heightened. And when there is no, the expectations are not met, the public tend to think that you are not working. But you forget that in the courtroom, it's not the AG's court. In the courtroom, you have another lawyer coming.
Let me bring Adam. Adam, is the AG putting unnecessary pressure on himself, considering that the oral was a partisan campaign promise already, and today he spent quite a bit of time talking about pressure. And then he goes through the list of his bosses, the president, the chief of staff, Callistos, trying to tell us that none of them is giving me pressure here. But he's obviously feeling the pressure because he references it. I mean, Amaliba has also talked about it. And then he gives us this update. And then he says, if you do it the way he's done it, you create more expectation. And then that brings unnecessary pressure that then you're tempted to railroad people, although you are Minister of Justice too. Where do you sit on that?
Well, first of all, I mean, if you take, for example, Act 959, those of us who were involved in crafting it for the OSP, where we said every 6 months come and report to the public. It was because we had a certain context where the level of disillusionment and nothing is happening and nothing's going to happen. So don't even bother. In
fact, investigations we tend to now know has become a cover for not doing anything.
Exactly.
They just say we are investigating and then nothing happens.
So we had all these agencies, which we still do, with persons engaged who are supposed to be investigating. But you never get any reports that any case has actually gotten to prosecution, someone has been sanctioned. And so we told ourselves, no, let's change the narrative. Because you have this in other jurisdictions, even the US, where there are updates. Just before going to court, sometimes starting the case, you have the FBI and whatnot call it, they say, this is what is going to happen. So the intention, even when we gave the 6 months to the OSP, wasn't such that...
na as a NPP MP no, I for number 4, ni nsema no kano na se make sense kakra. Because in seminar a year Domelevo no ka oral team no na a year NPP MP ni ka say ono no a former auditor general offer COP coffee boagin so a unim security mun sentem offer a year Martin Pebo onso ya lawyer ono dada so nyina no ti say a year kujeta blakwa then time na mo opposition no timi dey expose ahodo efa yakofa don de babontin na Ghana for boss yi ofa eye remote chance wa ono isi onzo akoda iyoko. That means ono na mda orani nyina no kitoba kokora mponi. So Domelevo no babontin me kan say those report na mo jiji nyina na mo estimate say sa report we nyina am dia ba no so I'm doing in Aboma about 21 billion, another $21.19 billion. And I'm meeting my heading, I retrieve. Now, Omuri no na or say, Ibuwa a noise making. Ibuwa so as I no more retrieve from Ibuwa individual has been on a home report by no mining, Omakeka Kanimabo. But on no Gazadi to me say, Ibuwa na say, Uhuni say, a noise making. Ibu so when say a garbage. When say as a one shade here sad. Indeed, say the bontin say one cases in no. Ibu when say this one we investigation is happening panel. authentic and as any authentic. That's why I'm a NPP MP no babonting. I can say when we send that to Rano Yandia, I feel it and the president because Omokan be turning and the Momokan operation cover all the two, operation cover all the two. They know it's or maybe not knowing say name of the babonting crampon be benign allegations, be benign so garbage. Daniel Domelevo and say the babonting. That's why I'm saying. But it do baby no now say that's in a perspective no and they call about the oral no name should I yes sir. That's why Daniel Domelevo babonting is a very reply no or TV show now so only a friend zoom the about a very reply no I can say now okay can't find the oral no okay can't find the agent no or disagree with or no NPP MP never about for one no because maybe I became no and there you can a cop probably domain or who is as a woman that will make it the right concept of science kaka so Nema Daniel Domelevo a lawyer and Maliba heading kiki kind I feel so concerning about here na NDC secretary na kasapa about some more cathedrals near and no a lawyer Maliba so heading a clear that concerning about agents when some can say or more category so or then you be shame chichim as I reply a NPP MP no I've an NPP MP in yashi in dancing na enya some get talk after that no NPP MP as I can say I was say agent and say money a cross checking with some Benyan Pano nipa simisi we sanso be beating their bonnet no since I'm about months and be good nipa couldn't even after in the back on a campaign silent is up. I don't know NPP for a moja or more coming. Now so a year and Domelevo any lawyer Amaliba and some can just say the agent or reporting cases are made on delivered. One got to be about go be in my sons or go be in my and down by fast talk now 50 million Ghana cedis no chenam no court no you say no cancer no be in my allegations in the area that was no so who is any no cry but court ni be one who say oh and them am making the any no cry simple as ABC any gidi bia we need some normal discuss a bit my head change under the comments with him so I shall madam for so you be I have for any jack